that with these warmer temps.
All right, let's talk warmer temps because let's take you into the southern tier where it is cold. This morning certainly is, but things are going to be changing. So some of that flow that Steph talked about, bringing up the warmer air into the Midwest, that's going to be the same thing that brings some of the warmer air and some of the moisture into the southern tier. And that means widespread rainfall, about an inch of rain. But there will be some areas that see those repeated heavier downpours, and it's going to add up. That's a good thing, right? We still need a lot of rain across the south. Dry air in place right now. In fact, very dry outside with this Arctic air that spilled in past couple of days. By Thursday, we have the rain for most of the southeast and the southern tier. And Thursday is going to be a day we need to watch out for. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's get the timing here Wednesday. Wednesday morning, Corpus Christi, Galveston, Houston, Alexandria, Lake Charles, Shreveport, perhaps up into the Little Rock area, but just south of there, likely to see more of the rain on Wednesday. Thursday, now we see more widespread rain into areas Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, Tallahassee. Also cold this morning. It's been close to the freezing mark in Tallahassee. Wind chills in the 20s in Charleston this morning. But this is going to welcome and usher in a much different pattern, a much warmer pattern too. Now with that pattern change, a more dynamic system moving in, we've got the moisture that's going to be in place. Do we have some of the dynamics in place to provide us with the chance for severe weather? I think it's still a question mark how those all come together, but being outlined nonetheless for areas Louisville, Lexington, London, Bowling Green, Nashville included in this, Jonesboro, Arkansas, down through areas like Memphis for the potential of severe weather. And you think about some of the severe weather events that have happened in December, it typically is in this region. So just, kind of a heads up as we head towards the second half of the week. Nashville, regardless of the severe weather, it is going to be a soggy day on Thursday, pretty much throughout the day, spreading into Atlanta, Asheville, Greenville, South Carolina, Charleston, even down to areas like Orlando, which Florida is another spot that absolutely desperately needs some rain. As the Florida-Georgia line, we have this bright red color, that's extreme drought. We've erased some of the worst drought, but still some pockets where we could really do some work here with the rain. And certainly this is not going to erase this drought, Jordan, but, at this point, it's like we got to take what we can get.
Yeah, that's true. And it doesn't look like a lot's coming, but we will take it. All right, relentless pound.
Good Tuesday morning on this December 16th. We had a mess for travel this weekend. Thank goodness we are seeing improvements today. 95 corridor especially. Now, that being said, there will be a few trouble spots we have to watch out for. Buffalo, some lingering lake effect snow. Of course, there's a lot of de-icing going on with the cold temperatures still in place. Minneapolis is one of those spots that we could be seeing some de-icing. Seattle, obviously the rain is the big story there, and that extends all the way down to Portland where we could also be seeing delays. But let's take this and focus it specifically on the Midwest. And let's zone into there, the Midwest, upper Midwest, northern tier, where there's actually going to be a lot of wind energy moving in over the next couple of days. And we know what that can do to some of the airport delays. They can stack up big time. But for now, look at all the green on the map. We love to see that for today. Tomorrow, notice some of that next system that's sneaking into areas like the northern tier, perhaps affecting places like Minneapolis, Des Moines, all the way through Kansas City with a lot of wind picking up, rain spreading into Chicago, the Ohio Valley. That's for Thursday. Meanwhile, in the north part of that system, now we have snow back into Minneapolis, Duluth, Marquette, International Falls, back into areas like North Dakota. Then we bring this to the 95 corridor, which today doing just fine. This weekend we had delays at some of our New York City airports. Ground delays 5 to 6 hours. It was a long day at the airport, but today should be much better. Tomorrow we bring in some more wind energy too, so that could cause some delays, in addition to some lingering lake effect snow in those typical areas like Buffalo and Syracuse.
New York. Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. Bluff.
Thank you, Steph. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, and really from Thanksgiving on, we have just seen this pattern that has been dropping snow consistently across the same areas with 4 clipper systems last week. Thank goodness we're seeing a bit of a break this week, at least for the first half of the week. But this is the month-to-date snowfall just since the beginning of December. You can kind of pick out some of those hot spots, obviously lake effect areas, but then some of our ski resorts in the Northeast New England, it has just been, wow, what a start to the year. it has been. Jay Peak, I don't even know what the total is right now, but you were at 100 inches of snow leading into Thanksgiving. International Falls in the zone to see some additional snow, as well as Marquette, Duluth, and then you see off Lake Michigan there for the mitten of Michigan, some of those typical lake effect snow belts, and then the higher elevations, not only in New England, but down through West Virginia. But did you notice how much green was on that map? This is a much warmer system, a lot of warmer air moving up pretty far to the north. It's going to provide us with widespread rain for many of us before the cold air starts to move in. There's our dynamic system. Actually, for parts of the Mid-South, we're tracking the chance for severe weather potential, Tennessee and Kentucky, but just north of that, rain, a colder rain that then transitions into snow pretty far to the north. So let's look at the timing here. This is now Thursday. We're bringing the snow into International Falls, Duluth, Marquette, rain in Chicago, maybe a brief changeover into snow as we see that wind direction change, but then into Pittsburgh, we have that rain-snow mix changing over into snow, all rain on the 95 corridor after our first measurable snowfall of the season in New York City. But again, a lot of green on the map, and then the cold air starts to move in after that. This is the snow forecast where we're likely to see some of the highest snowfall amounts. You look at International Falls, you look at areas mostly up into Canada, but most of us out of this next event, Kendall, our producer, our executive producer, says 192 inches at Jay Peak. Was that the number you said? Wow. So we're close to 200 inches of snow. That was quick. Thank you for getting that stat for me, Kendall. And then we're going to look at some additional, 3 to 5 inches of snow across the UP of Michigan, which sounds like nothing now compared to that 192 inches of snow stat for Jay Peak. We do have a lot of wind energy with this, and that's going to complicate travel, certainly. And it's also going to make things feel a lot more miserable outside. It's going to be windy and rainy as we bring in, all of the colder rain there across Chicago and Detroit, and then the blowing snow across Duluth and areas like Marquette. It's going to be difficult for airports too, even on the 95 corridor. That's now as we get into Friday and we're kicking off some of this busy holiday travel. We'll have to watch those airports really closely. Steph?
Atmospheric river flooding causing